Few things are harder than the mission of raising your kids. At the Dad Project, we get experienced dads to reveal what's worked for them, offering practical, time-tested advice. Being a successful dad is tough, and we're here to help you get it done. Welcome to the Dad Project.
Hello, this is Ashton Ellis, co-founder of the Dad Project podcast. The voice you just heard, the voice that introduces every episode, belongs to Jim Tierney, the founder and driving force behind the Dad Project. Our updates to the podcast have slowed down over the past several months as Jim's health took a turn for the worse, and he had to shift his attention away from the podcast to focus on his health and his family. And it's with deep regret that I announce that after a 16-year battle with cancer, Jim passed away on Saturday, July 9th at the age of 48. In episodes of the Dad Project, Jim did a great job of keeping the focus on the topic or the person being interviewed. It was an opportunity to share hard-won lessons on fatherhood. Right now, I want to put the spotlight on Jim and a virtue I think he lived exceptionally well. When my wife was pregnant with our 8th child, she went to the hospital one night feeling a little funny. About an hour later, I got a call saying my wife was having an emergency C-section. Due to COVID, I would not be able to be present at the birth of our child, and once I came to the hospital, I would not be allowed to leave and return. Clearly, I needed to figure out who would watch my kids before I could help my wife and newborn. I texted some friends, including Jim, and asked them to pray for our situation. Jim immediately called me and asked what my plan was for going to the hospital. I told him I'm working on it, and he said, "Okay, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. If you don't have a plan by then, I'm bringing my older boys over to your house to spend the night and make breakfast in the morning. That way, you can go to the hospital tonight, and we can start making a plan for tomorrow." Classic Jim Tierney. A friend has a problem, and he comes up with a solution that goes beyond anything you would ask or expect. Jim and his boys arrived like a SWAT team and fanned out with bedding, food, and games to play with my kids. I had told my boys the Tierneys were coming for a sleepover, and now they wanted to know how many days they could stay. Thankfully, we had family that was able to arrive the next day. But I know Jim would have done whatever it took to get me to the hospital and focused on my wife and baby. When I think of Jim Tierney, I think of generosity. If you go back and listen to Jim's podcast episodes, and I strongly encourage you to, you will hear a man who cares deeply about marriage, child-rearing, and friendship. He never pulls punches and always gives it to you straight. One time when I asked Jim to describe his will to fight cancer, raise 10 kids, and strive for excellence at work, he shared this mantra: boots on, face to the enemy, running to the sound of gunfire. To me, it summed him up perfectly. Boots on, he was always ready for the task he was doing. Face to the enemy, he looked at problems square in the face and was honest about how to fix them. Running to the sound of gunfire, Jim wasn't just the Marine you wanted in your foxhole, he was the man who would risk it all for those he loved. Jim's words have been an inspiration to me whenever I am tempted to ignore a needy child, an overwhelmed wife, or a job that just needs to get done right. Now, Jim's life will forever be an example of what it means to live heroism in the little things every day. For more information about Jim's life and struggle with cancer, please visit his blog at fortitudine-withfortitude.blogspot.com. If you would like to donate to the Dad Project, we appreciate it. Any amount helps. The links will be listed in the episode notes. We at the Dad Project will dearly miss our friend Jim. But even without his text messages reminding us to send in our recordings, we are committed to continuing his mission on this podcast. We have new episodes in the works, so stay tuned for updates in the near future. Thank you for listening to the Dad Project podcast.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Dad Project. If this talk was valuable to you, please go to our website at dadproject.net and make a voluntary one-time or recurring donation to help support our operations. Any amount helps. Catch you next time at the Dad Project.